national chairman and former presidential candidates from across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. There is no gainsaying the fact that in the last few months, the African Democratic Congress ADC coalition has gained significant traction and attraction to millions of Nigerians who genuinely desire a new direction for Nigeria and crave good governance. In order for the coalition to appoint the overwhelming number of Nigerians who look up to aid for political redemption come 2027, attention must be paid to the issues on ground. If the number one objective of the coalition is to win the next presidential and other layers of election, then the leadership must be bold in taking steps that can guarantee its success. For the sake of equity, natural justice, national unity, and political pragmatism, the coalition must urgently consider zoning its presidential ticket to the southern part of the country based on critical and beneficial imperatives like upholding national equity and cohesiveness. This decision avails the coalition a strategic electoral advantage because fielding a southern candidate is a pragmatic necessity that significantly aligns with the current mood of the nation. The ADC is increasingly viewed as a rescue platform for a nation in distress. But adopting a southern ticket, the party demonstrates its commitment to fairness over sectional interests, positioning itself as a credible alternative to the status quo. We'd like to caution that ignoring the zoning question risks internal friction and could undermine the very unity that the ADC coalition was built to achieve. Electoral reforms. Of great significance is the ongoing agitation for electoral reforms with particular emphasis on real-time electronic transmission of results. Mandatory electronic transmission of election results in Nigeria centers on eliminating human interference and restoring public trust in our electoral processes. Real-time transmission ensures data integrity by securing protocols, including end-to-end encryption and digital signatures, which ascertain that results remain untampered from the point of entry at the polling units. It is an open fact that making electronic results mandatory would elevate digital uploads to primary evidential status in courts, ending the current legal superiority of physical paper sheets of Form EC8A, as we know it, which are more prone to forgery. Moreover, it significantly reduces the physical movement of sensitive materials and protecting electoral staff from intimidation and violence by political talks during transition. All these advantages and more are well known to the opponents of the real-time transmission of results, but their aversion for a free, fair, and credible election is the major militating factor. The bill hurriedly signed into law by the president yesterday, despite its rejection by the overwhelming majority of Nigerians, is not only odious, but a very savage piece of legislation that threatens the stability and survival of our democracy. The president and the rubber-stamped National Assembly have done the biggest disservice to Nigerians' democracy and development. We call on the international community to join Nigerians in putting pressure on the Nigerian authority to abrogate this ignoble piece of anti-democratic lawlessness and save Nigeria from a disastrous collapse. What the president just passed into law is tantamount to electoral banditry and the civilian equivalent of a senseless coup against Nigerians, the nation, and its democracy. If this sacrilege against our democracy is allowed to stand, the opposition should consider boycotting the 2027 general elections, thereby refusing to give legitimacy to such brazen electoral thievery openly committed against the people. The dangers of orchestrating a one-party state. What is happening today in Nigeria is an insidious invasion of our democratic space by the pandemic of a one-party state. It is evident in the way that many politically exposed individuals like state governors, National Assembly members, and State Assembly members elected on the platforms of different political parties engage in brazen constitutional violations by decamping to the ruling APC, either due to government intimidation or their own sense of egomaniacal pedestrianism. A one-party state creates lack of accountability and causes erosion of democratic freedom that occur when a single entity holds absolute power. We all know that this is the target of the APC in its righteous venture of dominating the political space without recourse. We will not allow Nigeria to be turned into a mass open prison dominated by the power arrogance of a few individuals who, to all intents and purposes, do not represent the hopes and aspirations of the overwhelming majority of Nigerians. Thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you. Would they have questions or something? Is that?
Are you taking questions?
Yeah, I'll take questions. What are the signed ones? Are those the signed ones?
Yeah, these are the signed ones.
Those are the signed ones. I want to
Okay. But he's media too.
Dogma.
Yeah.
These are the signed ones.
These are the signed.
These are the signed copies, eh? Okay.
Come on, please, for your people. So
Give them.
Let's
Give them the whole thing.
So let them share.
We have
Then we have soft copies.
The question I wanted to ask is, sir,
One copy.
ordinarily, if there's a bill before the National Assembly,
Sorry, give your video for
okay, Daily Post, I'm reporting from Daily Post. For instance, if there is a bill before the National Assembly, it will pass through the Senate and the House of Reps concurrently, right? There will be committee of the whole where both chambers will debate on it and then pass it. Before, number one, there was no public hearing on the bill. So we just heard that the previous day there was a rowdy session in the House. Some of the opposition members rejected the bill and all of that, and then suddenly the following day the bill was passed by the president without being subjected to public hearing. The Nigerian populace were not given the opportunity to even contribute. Sir, as a civil society organization, what is your take and what is the next step are you supposed to take as a civil society organization? Are we expecting a protest from you, or what is the way forward? Thank you.
I'm going to take that question. One of the things we have to understand is the fact that it is part of the element that I've just mentioned, is the reason why we say that act is illegal, it is unconstitutional, and it is ultra-vires, and it is null and void on the strength of its inconsistency with the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. And then first populi first dei, the Nigerian people have rejected this orchestrated bill designed purposely to steal the 2027 general elections in advance, because already they know that the government is so notorious due to its bad policies that it knows that it cannot win in a free, fair and credible election in Nigeria. So what they did was to legalize illegality by way of rigging the election through the back door in advance before the 2027. So what we have found ourselves is that we are rejecting a fait accompli situation where people will say because this is the law and that it must be followed. This is not a law. It is a lawless piece. It is a lawless piece of document orchestrated by the ruling APC in order to rig the election. Everybody knows that they didn't win the 2023 election. They rigged the election. It was rigged. But now they want to give a legal backing, a constitutional backing to their rigging scheme. And that is what we are rejecting. As to what we are going to do, we have started with this press conference. One of the things we are going to do, we will not be able to openly state what we are going to do so that we are not truncated even before we start. But one thing is clear. We will educate Nigerians about the dangers of this type of law that is ready to destroy and truncate our democracy. We will educate Nigerians the danger that it poses to their children and children unborn, that it poses to their businesses, that it poses even to the unity of this country. We will educate Nigerians in all the languages that Nigerians can understand.
Okay. My name is Tochukwu Zofe, then the media. If the demands you are making on the ADC, if these demands are not met, what are you and the organization likely to do next?
Who wants to take it? Eunice.
Yes. My name is Eunice. I'm the national chairman of National Interest Party and the presidential candidate of the National Interest Party, as I said before. For us at the Coalition for Good Governance, it is imperative that the ADC zones the presidential tickets to the south, as we have already announced. And for us, we are happy to march the entire streets of Nigeria in protest should that not happen. We are not here to beat around the bush with this system that we have. We know the system is not working, and we believe that the southern candidates that the ADC has had the opportunity to bring into its coalition are actually the best candidates that we can have for the 2027 elections. And we already have a zoning formula that has zoned the presidency at this period to the southern part of Nigeria. There is no reason why ADC should not follow that formula if it wants this country to stay together. So we are saying we are going to encourage the ADC, we are going to encourage the people to look into this and speak their minds and get the leadership of ADC to do the right thing. And should the ADC refuse to do the right thing, then they are going to see that Nigerians speak loud and clear. I do not believe that Nigerians are going to vote to support ADC if the ADC do not produce a southern candidate, and we're going to mobilize to make sure that if they do not produce a southern candidate, that they do not get the presidency in 2027. It's as simple as ABC.
I have a question. I totally agree with you on the zoning. And we put a lot to the candidates from the south. Have agreed that they can really work. I think that's but my question is on this Electoral Act. So are you guys considering going to court to challenge this in courts? Do you have the legal standing to challenge? Because laws can be challenged, right? Yes, the judicial arm that cannot be. What this part, what they have not has not does not in any way represent the interest of the people, right? So can we challenge it in court? My name is Chisoma.
Yeah. So we are still considering the options. Those options are still very open to us, and at the right time, we're going to take our decision. But for now, we're very dissatisfied with the way and manner things are going in Nigeria. It's unfortunate that the legislative arm of government has been compromised, the executive arm of the Nigerian government has been compromised, even the judiciary. So pathetic, so unfortunate that we have a judiciary that doesn't command the respect that it demands. So Nigeria has gotten to a stage that we Nigerians have to stand up. We're talking of 2027. We're talking of having the brightest candidates to emerge to represent the people of Nigeria. Okay? Time has come for us to put an end to all these atrocities that are going on. You hear of the killings all over the place of Christians across the length and breadth of Nigeria. You hear of marginalization of people. You hear of economic collapse. Everything has gone down. We are in our worst state as a nation. And so this is the time for us to rise up as Nigerian youths, as Nigerian people, and ensure that we have the best candidate, the right candidate that can turn around our own lives, turn around our own fortunes as a people, and make sure that we are repositioned, okay, in the position, in the place that we're supposed to stand as a country, as a giant of Africa. We have answered giant of Africa for a very long time, but the time now has come for us to really stand up and truly represent what we are meant to be.
One final question follow up. The challenge in court, you see considering it. What are you talking about mass action? What's your thought about mass action? Because that is when the power belongs to the people, right? Democracy should be the representation of the express will of the people. So is there any plans to actually do a real massive mobilization? Sometime in 2007, they did in the United States, where Occupy Wall Street. They sat down there and they got the change. If you go back, all the civil rights movement is people that came out on the streets day in, day out, until the government actually did what they are supposed to do. So is there any plans like that? I don't mean 10 people, I don't mean 20 people. I mean bringing 100,000 to 200,000 people on a daily basis, sit at the National Assembly, Occupy Aso Rock, can such a things be done? You have those kind of things on the table.
Why not?
Why not? Nobody is more Nigerian than any other person. But time will tell.
You see, political actions are quite dynamic. They are quite dynamic in the sense that what is happening to the realities we are facing today, 19 February 2026, now, the thing that will happen tomorrow we don't know. But one thing is very clear. All Nigerians are already mobilized because of the bad governance that we are witnessing now. They are ready for action. But I want to add this on the issue of ADC. The ADC knows the right thing to do. The ADC knows the right thing to do. I want to say boldly, I'm a Yoruba man from the southwest of this country, but everybody in this country knows today the opposition presidential aspirant from the north to the west to the south to the east, every village and every hamlet in this country, there's one presidential candidate, I may not mention names, that everybody understands that wherever he goes today, he does not need security because the people will be in security and it's so popular. And the NDC knows the right thing to do and they must do it. We make them do it, we make them see reason why they must do it. If they still want to keep the affection of Nigerians, the support they are getting all over the place from Nigerians, from the market woman, from the market man, from the cobbler, from the mechanic, from the carpenter, from the mason. If they want to keep that, the critical stakeholders in the Nigeria project, who are the real voters, because Nigeria needs no vote, they must do the right thing by allowing a southern candidate that's an origin law in this country, whereby the south does 8 years, the north does 8 years. Why would the ADC, a coalition so beloved of the people, now want to violate that? Under what circumstances? There are no reasons strong enough for us to even be debating this. The ADC should not be debating this. And we know for all the political parties in this country that are in opposition, and the people that are not even in political parties, the people that are not politicians, the market woman, everybody, what you call regular Nigerians, they know who. If there's a free, fair, and credible election in this country today, you can go home and sleep. Who can win this election? And that is why we are also all against this election rigging machinery of legislation that has just been done. A sacrilege that has been committed against the democracy of this country. And that's why we are against that. So our situation, our activities, our actions are based on they are two-pronged. Number one, we want to fight against this electoral thievery. Number two, to encourage the ADC to do the right thing by coming down openly and deciding that the presidential ticket of ADC has been zoned to the southwest. To the south. Now, many people are now still skeptical. But people who are skeptical, if today ADC says we are zoning presidential ticket to the south, the ADC is not likely to have enough room to accommodate the people that will come into this party, into the ADC. That is it. And we will see that happens not only in ADC but at the general elections, and that candidate will win this election because we will not accept a rigged system anymore in 2027. It's over.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.